Welcome to part 2 of Competency 5 quiz questions. In this video, we will continue to work with properties of functions. Number 6. For which one of the following functions is the domain all real numbers greater than or equal to 1? Now that changes some things for each, depending on what we're looking at, okay? So for example, for A and B, that won't be valid at all. Because for A and B, because they're rational, what our denominator says here is it's all real numbers except x cannot equal 1. That's not what our question says, so A won't work. Well, this is kind of the same thing for B. That's saying x cannot equal, well, it's all real numbers except positive negative 2, so B won't work. However, for C and D, those are different because they're roots, they're under the radical. The first one says that we have a limitation that begins at x equals negative 1. Well, that's not what we're asked. It says 1. But that leaves D. Doesn't matter. We're going to check it. You may remember when we graphed these before. This would have been from 1 and greater. Doesn't matter. Let's just graph that. Okay. Let's clear this out. Go back to that. Okay. Push second, x squared, and then x minus that 1. Okay. Now we graph it. Looks very accurate. Looks like what we need. But let's push second graph and verify. Oh, let's kind of change this. Let's make it count by ones, and let's go up and begin at 0. Now let's take a look. And yes, it has been verified. Every x of 1 and greater works, but everything less than 1 does not work. So D has been verified. Okay, number 7. Given the parent function g of x equals x to the third and that h of x equals k times the value of g of x, that would be like saying whatever y is, where k is a constant, which one of the following represents 2 points that both lie on the graph of the line h of x? Okay, this is a little bit dicey, but we can make it work, okay? And I mean that it's not super straightforward, but we can make it seem that way, okay? So let's say we have an x. Let's say we have a k. And here, let's say we have k with our x to the third equaling something, all right? And then we're going to, here, okay. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my y equals. The first thing you always need to do when you have a question like this is graph the given type parent function, okay? And that is an odd function, by the way, which would be x caret up to the third. Okay, let's look at the graph. Regardless of how we either put a whole number or fraction, positive or negative, in front of that answer that we get, our y value, it doesn't matter. And I'll tell you what doesn't matter. We're always going to have something in the first quadrant and something in the third. Okay? So that means we're going to have a positive order pair or a negative order pair. Well, A has only negative. So A has been eliminated. So that leaves B, C, and D. Well, let's go through that. If we have 1/2, that means we have, I don't know what K is, and then 1/2 to the third equal to 1 over 64. Okay? Well, I can tell you that What does k have to equal? Well, that means that we have k. Let me kind of sidebar this here. That means that we have k times 1/8 equals 1 over 64. Well, that would mean that k would have to be 1/8. Okay, so now we have a value for k. We could turn that into a function and double check it. Let me show you what I mean. Let's just go back. Remember, it was going to be the whole function, which is x to the third, times our k. So let's go alpha y equals, let me try it again, alpha y equals, there it is, and highlighted 1, enter, and we said our k is going to be 1/8, arrow over, and now we have x caret up to the third. All right, we can graph that. Okay, kind of flattens out a little. Okay, let's do our table. Second graph. Now, what you have to, not sure what I have done. Let's go back. Okay, what we need to do is look at our other ordered pair. We need to go to -4. All right, let's just arrow up. -4, remember we're working with the green, and -8. That actually checks out. But let's not take that right off. Let's check 3. Okay, so we have 3, and then we have k. All right, and we know that 3 times 3 is 9. So we'd have 3 to the third, and it has to equal 9. Well, 3 to the third is 27. In order for that to equal 9, we would have to divide that by 3. So that would be k is equal to 1/3. Let me write it out. That would be times 27 equals 9. And 9 over 27 equals 1/3. This implies 9 over 27. As you see, you can put that in your calculator and see that reduces to 1/3. So we're good. So let's just type over what we had. Let's go here. And let's type over that 8 and put in a third. Let's put in a 3. Now, graph it. Looks a little different. So say second graph, and we need to go to 3. I'm just going to arrow down, and that would be, oh, that's 3. Oh, no, I need to go to -5. I'm sorry. I need to look at my other ordered pair. Oh, -5. -5 says it would be a fraction. No. So obviously that will not work. C's out. We can check D real quick. 1 over 4, that's k. And that would be, okay, it's supposed to be 1/16. But if we had 1/4 to the third, then 4 to the third, okay, 4 to the third. 4 times 4 is 16. Oh, you know what? Let's not do that in my head. What have I said several times? When you start getting tired, don't do it all in your head. So we're going to say 1/4 caret up to the third. Well, that is going to be, oh, we're going to have to use math. Number 1. Get our fraction. Oh, that's what I thought. 64, but I wasn't quite sure. All of a sudden, it started getting a little tired. It happens. So that'll be 1 over 64. Well, how would I get that to equal 1 over 16? Well, that means I'd have to multiply times 4. Okay, so 4 divided by 64 would be 1 over 16. So k has to equal 4. So let's go back here to our y equals, and let's go to the second one. And I want to put a 4 in front. I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to delete out each part. Okay, so let's go second graph. And let's look at negative 1/3. Well, we don't have things set up for 1/3. So I say 1 divided by 3. All right, as you see, that is equivalent to 1/3. So let's go second graph. Now my other negative 1/3. Okay, I should have said negative 1 divided by 3 for a starting point also. Not a big deal. Just type it in real quick, and here we go. Negative 1/3. Oh, no. That is definitely not negative 4/9, because I know if you've watched videos with me or you know this little trick, that's going to be negative point 0.4 repeating. That's definitely not what we're looking at right here for negative 1/3. Okay. Well, that means that B was our selection and we were correct. It is verified. Note that that's a little bit more intense, but still can be checked with a calculator. Okay, number 8. You are given the parent function w of x equal to x to the 5th. The graph of the function zx lies 4 units to the left of w of x. Which one of the following represents the expression z of x? Okay, what does this mean? This means, remember, if it goes up, if we shift up or down, that's just going to be our function. That would be z of x, our parent function. This would be plus some number. And then if we go down, actually, I probably should be saying w. Okay, here. Right, we should be saying so. You're going to take whatever w is, and then, which would be our x to the 5th. Doesn't matter. You take your function, and then you're going to subtract some value, okay? And the value we need is 4 units. So up and down would be plus or minus 4. Well, that's not what it asked. It asked for us 4 units to the left. And left implies negative. So we can get rid of A here. Get rid of A and we can get rid of C. Okay? So if we want to go those units negative, that would be X equals negative 4. Then that would become X plus 4 equals 0. So we are looking in parentheses for B, but always graph it to verify. Okay, let's go with our y equals, and we can just type, just arrow over when you're highlighting the 3, type 5. Then we're going to go down, and I'm just going to clear everything out and say parentheses, and that's x plus the 4, close my parentheses, carry it up to the 5, and we can graph to see what it looks like. Okay, and obviously it's going to be odd. We aren't typing to the 3rd. This is how it would look because it's odd. It just flattens out here a little. And it says 4 units to the left. And that means that would be our green is to the left. Well, we can go ahead and look at our table. Okay, and I'm going to put this in ones again. Let's go 1 here, 0 here. Now let's look at it. Clean it up. Okay, so if we have 0, 0, and we are going to shift, that means we need to look what happened to our 0. It would be negative 4 and 0. See where our green would be, which verifies our option B. Okay, let's move on. Number 9. It is known that g of x equals x to the 3rd if h of x equals g with 2 times x, then which one of the following points must lie on the graph of h of x. Okay, we can build h of x really quick. Okay. That has to equal, go back and simply put 2x to the third. That means we're going to take the x, double it, then put everything up to the third. Okay, let's just put that in the calculator and see what we get. And we also need that parent function. Okay, y equals, well, look, it's already in the calculator. I've already entered it. Okay, so remember, you can get your third power with your caret up. All right, let's graph that. Yes, we're still working with the same family of uh, equations, so it's going to look a lot like the last couple questions. Okay, that's fine. Now, but what we need is that table. Okay, and we need to look for 3. See how your x is 3, 3, 3 on all your options. Let's go to 3, and we're looking for the green. Remember the second one. Y2 is what we changed, and that is 216. C is the only option. Okay? All right. Much easier than some of the prior questions. It's because of what we were being asked and how we were being asked. Okay? Number 10. Given f of x equals x squared minus 4 and g of x equals 5x plus 8, which one of the following represents f of g of x? Okay, so that means that you take g and put it into f of x. So we can have some parentheses. You square it. We're using this one, okay? Minus 4. And then inside, we should have 5x plus 8 in those parentheses. Now, what would that look like? Well, since you're squaring that 5, okay, I can tell you that B won't work, C won't work, D maybe. Well, let's take a look. All right. All right. Plus 8. 5x plus 8. 5 times 5 is 25x squared, and that's 40x plus the 40x. 8 times 8 is 64 minus the 4. Well, I'm sure you can already see that the only option is A, that will equal A, and D is not valid. Okay. This is the last question in this particular video. Thank you so much for watching, and it is so appreciated. Those of you who have shared us, liked us, and subscribed, you guys have been the best. I wish you all happy testing.